Hello and welcome to the Trenton 365 show. I'm your host, Jacque Howard. Spelling is just below me on your screen. This whole thing with doing Zoom is pretty awesome now because I can be in the confines of my home and be around my family more. And I'm fortunate to say that I have a very supportive family, and I hope that you and yours has that. If you do not, I encourage you to reach out to someone. You can even contact Trenton 365 and we'll put you in contact with someone if you need to talk about how you're feeling during this time, especially the holidays and someone who suffers from seasonal depression like I do. It's always nice to be able to have a support system around you. And I want to let you know that Trenton 365 is here to assist you with that. PSA time is a little bit off to the side now. We're going to be talking about one of the things that I'm extremely excited about regarding literacy. I love the amount of people who are writing books specifically to children, and specifically to children to address some things that they've experienced in their lives, and oftentimes providing an opportunity to just provide more information in a creative way to children of color. And that leads me to bring on my next guest. And as I was thinking about the time, realized that I've known Nichole for many, many years, prior to, some other things that we've talked about in the past, such as the travel and business, et cetera, but we can maybe get into that at a later time. So I want to welcome Nichole Nunes, and I want to make sure that I pronounce it right because I've heard it a couple different ways. Nichole Murray, we'll go with that, and you pronounce how you like to pronounce your last name. How about that?
Oh, that sounds good. It's Nunes.
Nunes, got you.
So yes, but thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm really excited to talk with you today.
Thank you so much. And Nichole, let's start with your professional, and I'm using air quotes because I know everything, your life is professional, but I've heard it referred to in some other interviews that your professional work is you are a lawyer. So can you just talk about that aspect, and then we'll drive into talking about the polar opposite side of that, and that's being an author.
Right, right. Sure, sure. Yes, I am a lawyer by profession. I have been practicing law really for actually over 20 years. So although I'm only 25, I may look a little, I was just like, but yeah, so oh my gosh, really, it's been over 20 years that I've been practicing law, and I've done different areas in the law. I started off actually with um, dealing with constitutional issues, and then I've done child abuse areas. I've done a little bit of everything, some employment law, some entertainment law. But my latest job that I was working with that was legally related was child abuse. I've done a lot with that and just, children and going out. I was a law guardian, so I'd go out and visit the kids and I'd go and make sure that they were okay and help them with services that was needed. So I really have a love for children. So being able to advocate for them in the legal sense was something that, I really enjoy doing. So that's what I did as a lawyer, and I still do. I do closings now. I do different things as well, currently, depending on what's needed.
Mhm. Now, where did you go to law school? And I'd like for you to talk about the experience of being a woman of color, going through the process of getting your law degree.
I went to law school in Boston, Suffolk University. I'm actually from Connecticut, but I went to school in Boston and now I live in New Jersey, so I'm all over. But law school was definitely challenging. There were not many individuals in my school that were of color, but we definitely, stuck together. So it was just, I mean, definitely just it being a male dominated profession, it was tough. It was tough because I mean, you kind of very competitive. So a lot of times you're just, my girlfriends and I would just be like, I can't do this. I'm not gonna do this. It was very, very rough on just emotionally. I mean, you're thinking like, oh my gosh, what am I doing here? Am I meant for this? What is going on? The classes are difficult. Teachers are calling on you and you're sitting there like a deer in headlights, like, oh my gosh. So it was definitely a different type of environment. But I did have supportive friends, thankfully, which I speak to now. Even some of them are in DC, some are in Atlanta. So we do have that connection still. So it was great to have that support network of other African American women as well as men. that we had to kind of help us get through that, because we were a very small cluster of, of people of color who were there. So it was a challenge, but the support that I had around me, was invaluable. So it was something that was great. And I did it, passed the bar exam and everything. And, it was tough, but I'm blessed and thankful that I was able to do it.
Mhm. And I love the fact that you referred back to the support system and even gave a recognition to where they're currently located,
Hmm.
because that kind of gives a bit more of an understanding of the influence of this area, how you've been connected and are connected throughout the East Coast for the most part, from what it sounds, and even Atlanta, Georgia, which is a focal point for the largest percentage of people in the country. This is where people live. So it's
Exactly.
important to have a network system in some of those more diverse places, especially as you're growing businesses of color and as a person of color. I'd like for you to transition and talk a little bit now about being an empowerment coach. I know when we think about, like, and I say we because I'm including us in a space. Like, when I think
Mhm.
about when I was a young person, I had someone close to me, but it seems as though there were still things that I missed. And I would like to take those things that I missed and share them with others, which is why I'm sure myself and others like you are trying to do things to provide opportunities to other people of color that answered some questions that we had, when we were younger or less experienced. Now you've got them, and you've got this platform. You're a lawyer, um, you've got a lot of experience with that. You're an empowerment coach. Now merge those two together and tell me what that's like.
That is just a wonderful experience. I mean, my one reason as far as being a lawyer was the fact of helping people. I like to speak, I like to advocate. And I always geared towards professions that, were a little more on the sensitive side, because I'd end up finding individuals who had different issues and, you know, um, criminal cases where there were prisoners that I had to speak with that had issues that they were dealing with, whether it be their family or issues that they themselves ended up having to, understand and comprehend. So just being able to empower those individuals in a legal sense, I found myself also getting personal with individuals. And to me, that seemed like it was such more of an impactful area for me, because it was just like people are going through different things, and you don't know these things unless you're talking to them. And for me, I'm an individual who, you mentioned seasonal depression. I suffer from depression as well, and I have for years. And just being able to speak with people and bond with them and help them to get through the different things that I have, learned, whether it's tactics to get through depression, whether it's, um, I mean, even anything as far as job strategies, or just really trying to hone in on that individual's authenticity. So I love speaking to people. I'm very friendly, very I have a way of, I believe, bringing people in and really speaking to them and getting them to open up, to me, and I in turn help them with whatever things that they have. And again, just listening to people sometimes and giving your suggestions, giving your insights, because at times there are things people, you talk about that you may not necessarily have a solution for, but I could come in and speak to you, and then it's like, oh yeah, I never even thought of that. Just give you different perspectives, different ideas, and just ways to really just try to, I mean, everything's going on right now. I mean, we really have to find ways to, support ourselves, support others, and really just try to live up to your passion, whatever that may be, right? Because right now we know life is so fragile. It's not promised to us. Just, seeing everything that's been going on, I think it's important for people to have that passion and that purpose. So that's what I try to help people do, and I've been pretty successful at it as well.
Well, I'll tell you what, I hear somebody talking about their relationship person. I'm jumping all over that conversation. Hey, that's just the way it is. When like-minded
It's
people get together, it's just like
exactly
anything that you're doing. You want to tell other people about it,
right,
and
right.
just what your experiences are. And you want people to experience it. It's like I'm seeing there's a commercial on rotation right now where one of the lines the person says, "Yeah, it was like word of mouth." That was commercials before there were commercials. when
Right.
somebody's speaking for that, and hey, I think that's probably a perfect spot for me to insert, a big shout out to the biking community in Trenton, New Jersey.
Ooh,
I've got a huge announcement that I'm going to be making in January of 21. But besides that, this is Trenton
I
Unity
love
Ride.
it.
This was put together by a few people in just a couple of days on social media.
Oh,
June
nice.
King, Wills Kinsley, myself. I'm sorry, I'm forgetting some of the folks. But anyway, this was done by Bruce Boyd, who is a local entrepreneur as well. So shout out to Bruce Boyd. And
Awesome.
actually,
Very
I worked
nice.
worked that in there kind of nicely, man.
Yes,
Look,
you did. I like it. I like it,
no need
Jacque.
to edit this. No need to edit this. The commercial's taken care of. Bam. So Nichole Nunes. First of all, I want you to tell me the name of your empowerment coach business and who the focal point is, right? And then we're
Okay.
going to transition and talk about a couple other things and get some ideas out there about these books.
Okay, sounds good. The My business is called Empowered Life, and life is spelled Lyfe, and that stands for loving yourself faithfully every day. Because that's important. Because if we can't love ourselves first, how are we gonna give that love to anyone else, right? So that's what we do as far as Empowered Life goes. But I focus a lot because I have two children's books. I do work with children as well, but I focus a lot on women of color and just women generally. But I think obviously me being a woman of color is a very special, you know, place for me because I can talk about that, a lot more than I can with other things. But just the difficulties that we as women have to go through, in day in, day out. It's always something. And then as far as the children, I always feel like it's good for them to be able to have that love for themselves early on. Because once you have that love for yourself early on, as you grow into a woman, it's easier for you to be able to, finesse and do what you need to do in life. Because I know for me, I had so many issues with self-esteem growing up as a young girl, which I still to this day have to make sure that I am talking to myself, really getting positivity out there with my own thoughts and just really it's an everyday process, but I'm used to it now. It's something that I can do, freely. And I want to help other people be able to learn that as well, because so many things could happen in life that could just throw you off. And you have to have some techniques to be able to help you to get through these things.
Hmm. I'm speaking with Nichole Nunes, lawyer, entrepreneur, author, empowerment coach, motivational speaker. Nichole, I always appreciate when folks are open and candid about where they have been and the challenges and difficulties, the peaks and valleys, so to speak.
Mhm.
And I like it because it gives me more confidence to continue to do what I do and to tell people, honestly what I'm going through and what I have going through. And people come up to me all the time of all different walks of life, and they say thank you, and then they start telling me their story, and I'm realizing that most of us all have the same stuff going on, but we compartmentalize it in some sort of a way and then put some sort of a mask on.
Right.
And we just got to go through life with this. And for me, what works is just being able to hear other people share their experiences and what things have worked for them, and for me to do the same in an equal space. So then we are just, just two people talking, and if you're a person of faith, you know what that says when you got two people of like minds together, what's
Exactly.
going on in the midst. But also as a person of color, because I think it's also been stigmatized even more
Mm,
so than any other demographic, and that's in the Black community. That men can't cry, men can't do this,
mm.
women must do that, and all those other things that are put on us. So thank you for being candid. And hmm, I I'd like to know, do you have a book coming out specifically dealing with that?
I do not at the moment, but during all this COVID and sitting in the house, I actually do have a couple of ideas that I am working on, but I'm not going to say anything yet because I haven't officially started. But I am kind of churning a couple ideas in my head, and maybe something that we could talk about later as well, Jacque. I know you'd be a great person to speak with about these things. So,
Mm. That's
definitely, I love to write. So, and being in the solitude sometimes that I've been forced to be in, kind of gets helps me get the juices flowing. So I think I'll be writing something else very soon.
that's fantastic. And you, of course, I would love to be a part of that.
Great,
Yeah,
great.
or wife's in the background probably rolling her eyes. Like, there you go, he's getting into something else. But
Like,
but hey,
great.
hey, that's just what it is. Can you talk a bit about the process of writing a book? Because I've been told, and I made the announcement on my birthday, December 12th, that I'll be writing my first book. I'm going to
Mhm.
totally talk about that in another segment, so I don't want to shine anything on that. But the process that you went through to write multiple books, and whether it was something that you think more people should entertain doing, or if you think
Mhm.
it's something that is only for some people.
No, I think honestly, I mean, it could be for anyone. It really can. I mean, it's a process of being able to get out your thoughts and something that you want to maybe make a difference in. For me, my first book, Short Hair is Awesome Too, I wrote that one as a result of issues that my daughter was having. Um, I'm a mother of two. My daughter is now 16, my son is 12. And at this time, she was about 8 years old, and she has eczema. So she was getting a lot of rashes on her arms, like on her neck, and then she ended up getting a lot of the eczema in her scalp. So parts of her hair were breaking off, and so she, I guess, went to school this particular day, and she came home and she was crying. And I'm like, "What's wrong, Jade?" And she says to me, "Do you think I'm beautiful?" And I'm like, "What? Are you kidding me?" I was like, "Of course I do. What's going on?" And she mentions that some kids are picking on her because they said, why is her hair so much shorter in the back than it is in the front? And she was hysterical. And of course, me being Mama Bear, I was like, "What are you talking about? Like, you're beautiful regardless if your hair is short, long, whatever." So at that point, I ran to my husband and I'm like, "You know what? I'm writing a book." He was like, "What?" And I'm like, "Jade is so upset. I need her to know that she is beautiful. She is awesome. And I want these other girls to know that no matter what, you are amazing. You can do anything you want to do, regardless of what you look like, what your hair may look like. You're you're strong, talented, intelligent." And I just had to let her know that, and along the way let other girls know that as well. So that was something I was just so passionate about. And we'd go around and talk to people, and it really helped her, honestly, to get her self-esteem together as well, because she now 16, you can't tell her anything. Before she now she's like, yeah. So I'm like, did I create this monster? But in any event, that was the process that really got me to, writing my first book. And then being, also having the son, my son was like, "So mom, where's my book?"
Mm.
I'm like, "Oh, great." So I'm like, "You know what? Okay." So then with that, I ended up talking about the power of positive words, and just what you say becomes a reality, and just really, honing in on the male perspective of it, and just, speaking positive things into your life, like, affirmations and manifestation, things of that nature. So those are my reasons for the writing and how it began. But also for me, it's you know it's healing for me to be able to write as well. So I mean, I just sit there and, I'm by myself, and I'm just writing away. So it's a love of mine, and if it also helps other people as well, I think it's a win-win situation. So that's pretty much how I started the whole process.
I also want to say that I like the fact that it was a peculiar response of yours when your child was hurt by something. You said, "What? I'm going to write a book."
Exactly. I
Because I'm sure most people weren't thinking that is what the
know.
response would be
Right,
like. Because you
right,
even let
right,
in and you
right,
said,
right.
"And I'm
Exactly.
Mama Bear. Oh no, I'm gonna."
Exactly.
So I think that that would be something that you would encourage others to explore. That if you have
Absolutely,
something welling
absolutely.
up inside you, something you want to share, to write the book.
Yes, definitely, definitely. People tell me that all the time. They're like, "I have a book in me. I have a book in me." I say, "You know what? You just have to start. Just start writing whatever it is that you have inside of you, whether it's something you went through, something somebody else went through. I mean, what just put pen to paper and just keep writing. And these things, these thoughts, you know, come out. So, I mean, that's pretty much what I tell people to do. Just start writing. You don't have to worry about, well, what chapter one, or let me, how do I start? Just write.
Hmm. That is doubling down on some advice that I heard just a couple of days ago. So just start
Really,
writing and just let that
exactly.
be it. So Nichole, currently you're in the Central Jersey region, and I know that everybody's doing everything virtually. Reverting back to your law practice, are you open to clients, new clients, taking on new clients, etc.?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, I have a couple clients that I have now virtually, so it's definitely not, not a problem. Um, I can do consultation with people and see what kind of issues they may have if they need something done. Then I definitely am open to that.
Great, fantastic. Now, when we think about getting the word out about what we're doing as professionals, especially professionals of color, what are some areas that you'd like to tell folks or what words would you like to share with them to be encouraged?
I just really want to tell people to just, like I say, whatever it is, start. Start what it is, be passionate about it. And really, I think the number one thing is to really be true to yourself. You have to learn to love yourself, and that comes first. Because a lot of times people will worry about what, so and so is going to say, or what someone's going to, how they're going to respond to it. But you know what? You have to do what makes you happy. And it really is I think it's the biggest key to life itself is just really doing for you. I've had so many problems myself with just wondering, oh, what is mom gonna think? What is dad gonna think? What is, you know, but you know what? This is your life. It's You have one life to live, and you need to make sure that you are happy doing that, whatever that may be. And if it means you need some ideas, you want to explore things, you want to talk to someone, I'm definitely here for that. I can help you. It could be a different career track. It could be anything. There's so many issues that people go through and deal with, and I just think it's really important for you to really just discover you, figure out what makes you smile, what makes you, dance around, whatever the case may be. You really gotta go, you gotta dig deep. It can be challenging, but with someone holding your hand through the process, it can be very fun as well.
Mm. And a final point I'd like you to finish up with, and that's to talk about self-esteem to a very specific audience, and that would be to our youth.
Yes, definitely. That is something that we have to, you know, help our children with every day. And again, I think it's something that you need to positively enforce in your children. Like I'm definitely one who likes to talk to my kids about, you're great, you're doing a great job. Of course, if there are things that they're not doing great, you got to that happens as well. So you don't want to just continue to, but you got to encourage them. You got to really help them to see, especially now with these times. Like my son, he's with the virtual learning, he gets in his modes where he's definitely, I can see he's discouraged. But you know what you got to do? You sit down with them, you talk to them, you encourage them, tell them, like I always tell my kids and any other young, children, you can do anything you put your mind to. Don't let anyone tell you anything different. You put the work in. If you need some help, if you need, assistance along the way, then that's fine. But you know what? You have it all in there. You were made, you are a unique individual. There's no one like you. And you are a shining star. So you really just do whatever you want to do. Just, do it. Talk to your family, talk to your friends, and really just understand that, you are an amazing person inside and out. And that no matter what anyone may say to you, whether it's any kind of bullying or people, saying negative things about you, you can't let that affect you. You really have to just know deep inside that you are amazing.
Oh, I think that's a perfect way to finish up. Nichole Nunes, lawyer, author, mom, wife, great smile, all those wonderful things. All the contact information will be available when this is shared through the Trenton 365 networks, as well as the library boxes of Trenton networks as well. So then you can connect directly with Nichole Nunes. Nichole, as always, thank you so much, and I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Jacque, for having me. I appreciate it.
Oh, you are so welcome. Folks, you've been listening and watching the Trenton 365 show. You can always get in contact with me by sending an email or by contacting me via social media. To do so, just follow all the different outlets, social media, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And then the website is Trenton365.com. And remember, folks, it's always about justice, peace, and humility.